pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. Recognition of guests, and I think I'll turn it over to our elementary principal / football coach.
All right, you guys stand up real quick. So obviously we have 55 kids and they're not all going to fit in here. So we invited our senior class to just come in and let them talk a little bit. So, this group right here is probably just one of the most genuine group of kids that I've ever met. Some of these kids went out for the first time. Some have been fighting for 3 years to get their playing time, finally got it, and went out and proved themselves. Some have been playing for a while. So it's when I talked about in our banquet, just such a tight-knit group. And, not just like talent on the field, but just like their leadership and, how they treated the opponents, but also how they treated our team. We had 20 plus freshmen out, and every one of these guys treated the freshmen, the sophomores, just like they're one of their own, part of the team. It didn't matter if you were senior or freshman, you were just part of this team. So just a really fun group to coach and see them progress from when they're freshmen on to seniors. And so we have Conley Christensen here, raise your hand, Mason Reynolds, Tyler Robinson, Sam Stewart, Brady Toner, and then Kyle Bailey. And obviously Rob always has a few questions, so I'm really excited about that.
Okay, collectively, who's got the best story about Coach Crow? Brady, you got something to tell us? He is being recorded.
I just remember freshman year, after we lost the Big Four in the playoffs, we made it. It was like probably me, Mason, and Kyle. We all went to Taco Bell, and we learned about how Prop made some extra money from being a good video game football player. That was one of the subjects.
And that must have translated then onto the real football field.
Yeah.
So what did it mean to you guys? And I would like all of you to have a little say in this, to be part of this team for, I don't know whether you've been 3-4 years, whatever it's been. So tell me what it means to be a Manhattan Tiger football player.
Kyle, why don't you answer that?
Yeah. It seems like on the football team, and with most sports, it's family. You all are there for each other, and if one of you guys screws up, someone's there to help you back up and there to help carry you through it, help you improve.
That's what it really means, doesn't it, guys? Who else got something else to add?
I feel like what it means to be a Tiger, like everyone's like for the football team, everyone's just relentless, and we all just have like a really confident mentality because we're the Manhattan Tigers.
Yeah. Well, you've brought a lot of pride to this state, to this community, and to this school. Those of us that played football here, we never saw that many numbers, like on the front of your jersey of the positive column. Proud of you guys to do that, and you do win the award for the best hoodie. I like that. Undefeated 12-0. That says something for you guys. Anyone else have any questions or any comments?
I'd say one thing. I'm on the chain crew. I've been on there for a long time. I think the sportsmanship that this team had this year was incredible. The way you handled yourself in some situations that could have gone the other way, and being able to watch how you behaved and how you handled situations right down in the field. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I recommend seniors, especially for the leadership and the coaching staff, for instilling that sportsmanship and that behavior in all of you. So congratulations, because people watch, fans watch, the people on NFHS watch, people on the radio understand, they hear it, And so commend you for just your exceptional sportsmanship this year as well.
Congratulations. So on behalf of the whole board of trustees and the whole school, congratulations and well done. Proud of you guys. So,
You guys don't have to stay. This is your cue.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys a lot. For those individuals who intend to address the board during the public comment portion, the board chair will call on those individuals to speak. The intended purpose of the public comment segment of our agenda is for a member of the public to bring matter to the attention of the board for the board's information and or consideration at a later date. In general, the board is precluded from making decisions regarding public comment items since they are not specified on the agenda. In addition, the public comment section of the agenda is not a time to raise personnel issues. Therefore, I'd like to remind everyone in attendance to avoid violations of individual rights of privacy. A member of the public wishing to address the board during this time will not be allowed to make comments about any student, staff member of the general public during his or her designated time to speak. In addition, the board will not hear comments on contested cases or other adjudicating proceedings. So with that, anyone have any public comment? Any public comment? Seeing none, we're ready, sir.
Okay, consent agenda. It is recommended that the district approve the following items on the consent agenda. Minutes, regular November 11th, 2025. Water list, November 2025, including payroll, operational, and activities. Employment, 2025, 2026. Substitute teachers, Elizabeth Hanson, Brian Koch, and Lynn Miller. And then volunteers and chaperones list. And finally, disposal of records exceeding required retention schedule.
Anyone on the board like to see anything removed and acted on individually out of the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there support for the approval of the consent agenda? Second. And second, all in favor, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you. Board action item A, it is recommended that the district approve the proposed 2025-2026 employment contingent on OPI approval of emergency authorization for Reed Woodward, long-term substitute.
There a motion to support that recommendation? Moved and second, and discussion on that.
I'll start and then I'll hand it out here to Mr. Trott. Reed Woodward is, he's a junior in his education program at MSU Northern. And so fairly unorthodox to have someone come in who hasn't finished their program as a long-term sub like that. And thus the emergency authorization becomes highly recommended by his supervising professor. All the confidence in the world that he can do it, otherwise would not be recommended for this position. So I would hand it off to Mr. Cross.
So Reed started on December 1st, so he's gonna have 3 weeks with Miss Day in the classroom. Seeing how she's teaching. He's been teaching some lessons, and Miss Day's been just watching him and seeing how he's done. So obviously he's young. He's a 3 native, but he's also that. He's one of the elementary teachers whole life. So ETA now in the elementary. He's known what he's wanted to do. I watched a couple of lessons one day today. I watched a math lesson. He's got some natural skills. He's very patient. He's very respectful, and just a genuine guy when questions are asked that, might not be the right question to ask, and how he responds and answers. And so he's going to be really good with the kids, especially being a young male with how he interacts with them. I think they'll really look up for him just a short amount of time. And so we'll have some good mentors for him. I'll be in there a lot. So I'm excited. You don't see a lot of young males with his ability and talent coming to the elementary. So I'm really excited for him to spend some time in there. Everything will be set out for him, lesson plans. It'll just be about his teaching style, classroom management, and going from there. So he's doing a good job getting everything ready for him. So he just focus on the teaching part and then focus on how his class to look.
Then how does this impact his education since he's a junior?
So all of the northern classes are online. So he's still in school, taking his classes. He was actually, he told me the other day that he was going to get authorized to be a full-time teacher as a junior because they couldn't find anybody. And so that ended up, they ended up finding somebody that was certified, so they had to hire that person. So Northern was already on board, send him to the classroom. You know.
And I wanted to add, he's also getting credit for his practical too. So a lot of the requirements along the way, he's getting credit for them as part of this experience. So it's actually helping his experience. Mr. Crot's going to help mentor him. Adam Cleary, the other fifth grade teacher, is going to help mentor. Is Neil Harvey still coming in?
Neil and Heather, so we got Heather, we met with Heather today too. She's gonna do some things with it too. No, that you can find down here. So we had to ask her and you know, just have her in there on Summit meeting. And then Carolyn's actually gonna come back every once in a while too, just check out and see how he's doing. And then she wanted to come in and you know, kind of look at how he's doing lesson wise later on.
And this will be through the end of the year. Any other questions? Discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve? Reed Woodward is the long-term sub as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Board action item B, it is recommended that the district approve the discretionary leave request from Christine Miller for date in February 2026, 3.5 days.
Motion to approve that recommendation.
So
Second. Moved in second. Discussion on that.
I would just say I'm very supportive of Mrs. Miller on this request. She rarely takes time off and she's a strong teacher, and anytime she's out of the classroom, her plans and directions for her subs are to continue that learning. So they're not concerned about students missing content or days off per se, but so I just would like to voice my support for her request.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve discretionary leave as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And C, it is recommended that the district approve the proposed 2025-2026 FP14 student attendance agreement for recurring elementary non-resident enrollment requests due to extenuating circumstances.
Motion to support that recommendation.
Okay.
Moved in second. Discussion on that.
The student is currently attending school here, was in a foster care placement, moving to another foster care placement, which is out of this attendance area. Because the student is here, his friends, teachers know the student. The new foster care provider is requesting that we allow the student to stay for the rest of this year.
And they will make the concessions to get the student to school.
Yeah, and the reason why you have two agreements there is the student originally resides in Bozeman, so one of the agreements is for Bozeman. And,
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the FP14s as presented, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D, it is recommended that the district approve the resolution to call proposed annual school elections on May 5, 2026. So we'll start with elementary school trustee, general fund, levy, building reserve safety.
So we're going to do all the elementary. Can we do call for all of those at once?
Yeah.
So you had a link to the actual language, be it resolved and all of that stuff. That's the way that it actually is printed. Anybody need Ann to read that for us or? Okay.
So we're doing the elementary.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, So by law, we would have to call, we have to call for the levies. If we, are going to set amounts in March, we don't have to set amounts.
Right.
But
We can
to
cancel
run them, we have to call for them.
and you can cancel them
We can
in
cancel.
March, right? So there's the language that we're asking to approve for these three. The trustee, the general fund, the building reserve and safety for levies in the elementary.
There is, yeah, that's one.
That's all one levy. Oh, okay, I didn't understand it that way. So those three levies are what the motion? We made a motion.
Trustee position and 2 levies.
Have we called, have we had a motion? Is there a motion to support that?
So
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion on that? Everybody understand the timeline when we have to do that?
but again, if we don't need the levy, we don't.
We cancel it. Yep, cancel the election. All right. And this is moved up from the past years too.
Yes, we used to call them in February.
Now we're on December. Okay, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve those three levies? Calls for those three levies, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And then the next would be, high school trustee, general fund levy, and building reserve safety levy.
Is there support for that? Sorry. Moved and seconded. Discussion on that, same thing. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the high school levies, call, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
You want to say?
Yeah, we could. So the 2 trustees up for reelection are Mike and Ethan. Ethan is our high school trustees. They do, reside in the Ashburn School District. The key thing on that is that has been looked up as well. I believe we used to have until the end of March. Now those, yep, the intents need to be turned in by, February. Yeah. Definitely.
Great. Sounds good, thank you. Thanks.
Action item 3,
We already voted on it.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
No, definitely, that was D, 1 and 2.
Brennan, you following along?
Absolutely.
Action item E, it is recommended that the district approve professional services agreement with McKinstry for the proposed athletic complex project.
Motion to support that recommendation.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion on that.
So this agreement is, the work that McKinstry and Staley is doing on, the wrong quote. So just, what is the rougher magnitude quote for, timeline and overall cost for potential bond if we were to go in there. Staley will do the site work under this agreement that needs to be done. And, even if it's determined that there isn't support to call for a bond and go forward with this project, the work that comes from this will still be beneficial down the road if the district or when the district decides to come back around to this.
Okay, any other discussion? Questions? Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the professional services agreement with McKinstry as presented, say aye. 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 Motion carries.
Thank you. Action item F, it is recommended that the district approve the professional services agreement with B&E SMA Design for the proposed athletic complex project.
Motion to support that recommendation.
So moved.
And second discussion on that.
The agreement would be, for this to complete 3 renderings for what the project could look like, and two different options. Option one being what would a renovation of the current facility look like, what the renderings look like there, and then option two would be renderings for the new site over here. And the agreement is $6,000, which came in well below any other architectural firm to do this work. And that's all it's committing them to, is putting forth renderings that can be viewed by the public, and then they would also help, they would attend any public meetings and help answer questions.
And then
the budgeting side of it is being done by,
in conjunction with Kent Street.
Yeah, so both agreements have a price tag. So McKinstry's price tag is for the engineering site work with Staley, and then the work that McKinstry's doing, kind of guiding the project through these initial stages. The architectural firm, their price tag of $6,000, which is very little, coming in at just for the renderings and community engagement part of it. So it's for asking.
And this was the architect firm that we interviewed and chose as a building committee.
Yeah.
When we did that work.
Any other discussion?
What's the timing of having those initial renderings out?
So the next Monday is, there's going to be a meeting where they're gonna have the first draft of them. And so they'll present those to the facility planning committee and several stakeholders in the community. We have students on that group. We have coaches, other community members that are participating in that alongside with our facility planning committee. So they'll present those renderings there. And then prior to Christmas, they'll come back with a finalized final renderings based on Monday's meeting. And then everything will be ready for January 1, when the idea is to have the renderings available and have McKinstry and the architects present at home basketball games, just to answer questions, and then to engage the community in other ways too. So that's the timeline. It'll all be ready by January 1. So we'll see our draft this coming Monday, and then we'll see the final product prior to.
Okay, any other discussion, questions? Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the professional services agreement with A&E and SMA Design? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Action item G, it is recommended that the district approve the proposed Bridge Health Alliance Trust for health insurance for the 2026-2027 plan year effective 9/1/2026. And so what you're looking at is 3 agreements, but they can all be taken as one consideration.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to support that?
So
Second. Moved in second to support that. Give us a little background on what we're talking about here.
So I provided a summary to you guys. I'm going to start with that. The insurance committee met and is in support of proceeding with Bridge Health Alliance Trust for health insurance for the 2026-27 plan year, effective September 1, 2026. The multi-district participation and trust agreements together provide a clear framework for a collaborative statewide approach to employee health insurance that has potential to improve cost stability, strengthen long-term sustainability, and enhance benefit options for our staff. So while these documents lay the foundational structure and additional questions need to be addressed with the insurance committee, they represent a promising opportunity for our district to participate in a more predictable and efficiently managed health insurance model. As you know, we've had challenges in recent years with providing quality insurance because of the increases that we keep getting hit with, and We left Musk because of 100% increase 2 years ago, which they didn't be able to maintain and currently we're with United Health and they work with us diligently to provide an insurance plan that is acceptable to our district. It's not great. This trust, the intent of this trust is to create more stability, not just for Manhattan, but for all school districts who are part of the trust. And the hope is that all school districts will join it. The board supporting this recommendation doesn't necessarily commit us to it because the trust has to have 12,000 members for it to apply. The state legislature approved 40 million seed money to get it going. And that's something I'll say about that I just recently learned is that they presented 3 worst case scenarios, just back years of just worst case scenarios. And that 40 million would still be around. It would not be completely expected in the worst scenarios that they came up with. And so it's sound. We believe it's sound. We believe it's going to provide a much better plan than what we currently, or more stability than we provide our community. You'll remember we had community members here last year when we improved our insurance that just weren't happy with it. And so our staff as well. But I feel like this is going to help us with budgeting and everything. So you want to say something to that? You're not done yet,
It's good, our insurance committee met and they're approval.
We have a couple people here.
I've got a question that I want to ask though, but it looks like it's going to take a lot of the AA schools to sign on to this. Does that look like that's going to happen, or have you been in contact with any of your peers to hear anything about that? Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Is a big one.
So have you heard anything that any of them not wanting to support it? I mean, they're self-funded right now for their insurances, so I would.
Yeah, so not all of them are in great shape. And so there are AA districts that this is the great option for them. Okay. There are some that are going to need to do what's better for the whole. And so they're actually maybe walking away from something that's been very good for them, for the good of the whole. But the people on the board are very confident that it's going to happen. So we'll know. We should know in March,
Yeah.
right?
All of our questions or concerns that we've had, they've answered them and addressed them, fixed them.
Who is the board? Who's running it?
Well, John Dorn is the expert, the insurance expert who oversees it. But I mean, you have school board trustees, you have superintendents. One of the school board trustees has served for 30 years as a trustee and served on the insurance committee for that district. So knows insurance and so it's just a very well-rounded group of not just insurance experts, but educators who know what to do.
But this is not in effect yet. I mean, they're just starting this up.
Now, this will not fully take effect until September 1. I mean, everything
So it's just-
for us.
But nobody's using it now.
Oh, no, it's not in effect.
Right, so this is just
This is us coming to you and then letting them know that our board
supports it.
support it or not.
Yeah.
And so they'll know the 19th was the deadline that they gave us for December. They want to know by December 19th they have enough.
Okay.
If you don't join or commit, take it to your word, if your board doesn't approve it right away. They have said that they will consider people as late as March if they don't have it now. That much.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the proposed trust for next year, say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Board action item H, it is recommended that the district approve the proposed Montana Advanced Opportunities Grant annual report for 2025.
Motion to support that recommendation.
So
Second.
Moved in second. Discussion on that.
Just gonna hand it off just real briefly to.
So in the annual report, I'll just kind of summarize some of the main focus points that we have outlined in here is, work-based learning, expanding basically all of the programming and offerings that we have through our CTE courses. Looking at certifications that students are able to get through those classes. And then beyond the classroom, looking at both leadership and competitive opportunities through our CTSOs. So that's like our FCCLA, BPA, Skills USA. So those are kind of like our 4 focal points with work-based learning. We're looking at opening that up to juniors. We have a lot of juniors who are working and we want to provide that opportunity to earn credits through that, to expanding it beyond just the seniors. This year we offered ServSafe, and then we're looking at a couple different certifications through our shop programs. The challenge with those are like a lot of those require a block of like 8 hours to do a whole certification and training and whatnot, and that's just structurally different than what our regular schedule is outlined to be. So kind of looking at what that would look like for kids for the 6 other classes that they're enrolled in. And then as far as like the leadership and opportunities in CTSOs, I've seen an increase in student participation in fall leadership rallies, and then we're seeing higher numbers, advancing beyond like the regional competitions to state, even national level competitions. We've got a state officer right now at FCCLA who has desires to run for a national office. So I think those are just really neat things to see the kids participating in. And a lot of this grant is focused on helping to maybe us that would come out of the families to help support the travel and fees and whatnot. So.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Is this an annual grant? So
We don't have to reapply. We just have to.
just have to tell them what we're doing with it.
for how many years, Brittany?
Good question.
Of the money left.
Kind of indefinite, I know.
Really?
The legislature.
Right.
I know that they worked on the cap this year, so if you apply, you're good to go. And because we've received it previously.
Yeah.
The one thing that this is tied to is, I don't think schools are eligible to apply if we're not receiving the permit grant. The other thing, Amanda Swenson kind of oversees and helps coordinate this. She was like, when you look at the numbers, it's kind of weird because this is reported. Now I'm going to say it's backwards. Fiscal. Yeah. 2025. So when we're looking at the numbers, we're looking at 2025. Or the numbers for next year will be 2026, not over the course of the school year.
That's why we got the accounting of it now. Okay. Any other discussion, questions? All in favor of the recommendation to approve the annual report of the opportunity grant, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Action item I, it is recommended that the district consider the proposed adult education second amendment, core constitution class and curriculum materials. And
Okay, now, is there a motion to support that recommendation?
Second.
Moved and seconded twice. Discussion.
Cody Van Dyke is here, and Cody's community member who brought this to me to inquire whether or not she would be able to teach this as a course in our adult ed. And so sort of present the curriculum. You guys know about the course. And I told her she doesn't have to be up here longer than 10 minutes, so
Clip notes.
yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Where do you want me to go?
You can stand right in your chair. You can come here if you want.
You can put stuff down.
Okay, well, thank you first of all for letting me come and present.
So if you need to set stuff down, you can stand at the end of that.
Okay, that'll work. I don't have too much. I can give you, each one of these. It's just, the forward to the workbook and the acknowledgements in the workbook. It's a little informal, I apologize, but, and I don't know if you happen to relate to your. No, okay, and that's, so anyway, I did write down a few things so that, I wouldn't ramble on and on. So let me just start out with kind of some background on how I came across the materials. So it was August 27 of this year. I heard a message from the founder of Patriot Academy. His name is Rick Green. You will see he's the person who is the author of the acknowledgements portion that I gave you. And it was a very inspiring message for me. And I was introduced in that message to Patriot Academy's materials. And I learned about all these valuable resources that are basically free to anyone who's willing to facilitate them. We call them coaches. I definitely prefer to call myself a facilitator, because coach is just makes me sound like I know actually something about what I'm doing. So I really was both convicted and I felt called to do something about this. And so I signed up to be somebody who would facilitate and present this material. And then just less than 2 weeks later after that, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And this had an enormous impact on me. And I just knew that I had to press forward with this new commission. I felt very unsure about it. I felt like I was just on a high-speed train and holding on for dear life, but I just knew that this is such high-quality material, and I feel so strongly about it that I knew I had to keep going. Didn't really know what was going to become of it, but this popped into my head, and I was hoping that it was something that would work out. So the bottom line is that for about 15 years now, and perhaps you can you share in some of these sentiments. For perhaps 15 years now, I've observed that public discourse has really deteriorated. Even in small town Montana, I feel like it's really deteriorated. And now it just seems like that the mere mention of constitutional education, or just the Constitution, patriotism, informed citizenry, has just really put people on edge. Phrases like that have just become somewhat off limits. And I just don't feel like that should be at all. These are very founding documents and principles, and they're the very things that are supposed to unify us. And for whatever reasons and by whichever people groups, they've been obscured and manipulated in many ways. And a lot of people, I feel like, are just confused. And so the intent of these materials is to educate, to bring people together, to get that public discourse going again. They're absolutely excellent materials for anyone who will implement them. They're very thorough, but still in layman's terms. And I just think it's really crucial for us to do all that we can to know our country's history. And I think that by doing that, it will just really help in any current challenges that are. So that's pretty much what I've got to say about that. And if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer.
I do.
Cody, what is your idea of what you want to do with it in the adult ed? Have, like,
Sure.
more than one class?
Yeah, so the way that these work, and I was really happy because I just received this today. So this is the workbook that goes with one of their courses. It's called Constitutional Live. And so the courses are in video. They're free videos that I would present. So I don't actually do the teaching, thank goodness. But everyone that participates comes, watches the videos. They can either purchase a workbook, or once you sign up for the class, you have access to a digital format, so that you don't have to purchase anything. And then, you know, short discussion. And there's also Pocket Principles, which is a copy of the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and a couple other things. So yeah, and the videos are spread out over 8 weeks, I believe. There's a shortened version, and I didn't know exactly like how many of the classes there were, like how much time we had to fill, and each video session is like an hour to, I think the longest one is an hour and 20 minutes is how that works.
Any other questions for Cody? So you're looking to put it on the Manhattan education, adult education thing, and then people will sign up like they do for other classes. Is that kind of
Yes,
what
correct.
everybody should do?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And there's actually, they have many materials. You'll may have noticed that it said the Second Amendment, which is what I brought to Brian initially. That's one option they have. They have a whole separate course called Constitutional Defense, which is all about educating people on Second Amendment rights. But as I got deeper into it, I became more familiar with Constitutional Live, and I feel like that's more appropriate. But they have materials that would be appropriate even for students.
But the students they don't participate in the adult ed. This is strictly for adults. So, okay, any other questions? Comments, concerns?
So the focus is strictly just the Constitution.
Yep.
Your understanding.
Yeah, it's very historically based, and if you'd like, I can let you take a peek at the workbook. That I only have one, but the front cover says "Shot on location at Independence Hall, celebrating the anniversary of the Constitution." So it's actually this year we're coming up on 250th birthday of our country, and so they've kind of reissued this, but I think it was 25 years ago initially. So they're just kind of having kind of a little revival of it, and encouraging people to represent it and just get people excited about the 250th next year.
Cody, have you received much interest in doing this? Or had any inquiry?
This is the first opportunity I've had. I was a little bit intimidated and lacking in ideas for how to get it going. So this is the first thing that popped into my head. They have a separate course. Again, they've got several that's appropriate, like to present to church groups. And so I've been working on getting that going in a couple of different churches. But this is the one that I'm hoping goes first.
Any other questions? Comments, concerns? Nothing? No other discussion? Okay, all in favor then, we'll vote on all in favor of the recommendation to approve the Second Amendment Constitution class as presented. Say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cody. Thank you. That wasn't so hard, was it?
Not
Thank you. Action item J, it is recommended that the district approve the inclement weather guidelines.
Motion to support that recommendation? So.
We don't want to.
No, no way. There a second?
Second.
Moved in second and discussion on that.
Yeah,
This is something we had last month.
yeah, so I brought it to you last month. Our policy states that guidelines need to be approved by the board. Any guidelines to our policy or add or procedures to our policy. Put these together because the policy gives the authority to the superintendent to make decisions about whether school will be open or closed, whether or not to run buses, and that's a lot. And so I just felt like having some clear guidelines that at least I can use as a starting point would be very, very helpful when making these decisions. We usually have a couple weeks of the first of a winter where it's in question. Primarily, it deals more with whether or not to run buses. But even if we were to have discussion around running school, I usually will call you, Rob, the board chair. I usually will contact superintendents around the area and just to see what they're doing as well. But having these guidelines, I think, would be very helpful.
Questions on the document that you provided us tonight?
Do any of the schools in the area have something similar?
They do. So we actually, what I provided to you last week had probably a lot more information that I pulled from Whitehall, from Manhattan Christian, Belgrade, Bozeman. And so I whittled it down, at the request, just tried to be more clear and concise. And really to focus it more on whether or not we're going to run buses, just those kind of decisions. Where most of the language falls. And I also added just some links to the weather service, WeatherBug, 511MT, and just various weather apps that I will be considering just on a daily basis when we're looking at weather and making decisions about safe travel to and from school, whether to have a late in for school or school cancellation altogether, or if we know there's a storm coming in and we need an early out. I think this isn't necessarily meant for community consumption as much as it is to guide whoever sits in this chair. But it does require board approval.
Does it require board approval to modify in the future for something as simple as or these apps, whatever, you're changing those. I guess I'd like to see if there's a way to do it so that minor changes wouldn't have to be approved necessarily. I understand the desire to put, specific places that you're looking for the information on there. But that changes, does that require board approval? If so, we may not want to have that in there. It would be one idea. The other thing would be, I guess, if there is any other weather type things that do pop up that at some point in the future decide we want to add into it, just have that if we need to approve it or not ahead of time.
So to your first point, I think that's a great point. The reason I included it is whoever, a lot of times people don't even know where to look, and these are reputable. I mean, these are accurate. I guess maybe not reputable, but more accurate. And in speaking with other superintendents, WeatherBug, I had not even heard of WeatherBug. 511, my MT for road conditions, I had considered that in the past for this. I would go on the sheriff's department website and look at their forecast. And so anyway, we can take that out. My thought process is, that can be updated. I wouldn't think that would require board approval. But if we were changing the measuring sticks here in terms of the temperature range of when we would close school, I would think that would probably require approval.
So is this a policy? So you say it's not meant for public?
Yeah, it would be viewable to the public, but I really more than anything, a parent can go on there and look at this and, have better understanding why decisions are made the way they are. Yeah, more than anything, it's just a guy, a superintendent who has the authority to give from the board to decide if we're going to run buses or, and I don't know if Ralph was here, he was going to try and make it. Ralph and I had pretty in-depth conversations around his opinion, maybe not run them, in my opinion, that we should run them. This does clarify that our protocol and our contract is the authority to make the decision whether to run. But we can both be looking at the same thing as we're having this conversation.
And know what the parameters are.
Yeah.
So I still have just a question, like, I mean, apparently, would it be a good idea to have parameters for late start or not? I guess that's my only question on it. I mean, I think it's a great idea. You have good parameters for whether or not to run. Is there an idea to have parameters for, or what would you be looking at?
Yeah, and so I tried to kind of pull whether school's gonna be in session. I mean, I don't pull it out completely, but I tried to make it not so much about whether school's in session and make it a little bit more, at least on the top end here, about whether or not to run buses. If you look down, it does give some parameters. They're not attached to weather, but obviously if we're not gonna run buses in the morning, we may not start in the morning. And so I would probably consider the same parameters for whether or not to run buses as I'm considering whether or not to start school on time, start late or not. Yeah. So I pulled a lot of that out because it was there was a lot. So I removed a lot of the ranges from it. But I got that. But I would consider these ranges up here for both public buses and, I mean, if it's under -30, no bus service, there's a real good chance at the very least we're gonna have a late start if it's under 30. Right. But I make the point in -25 to -30 wind chill, real feel buses may not run. That may does not mean shall. So may means potential. Because really, buses not running, the cold temperature does weigh in, but more than anything, road conditions are the big thing we look at. Because a lot of times we'll run 4 routes, but we won't run the route out attached to Amsterdam because they can't get out there. So it's flexible even within it, but it's not all.
Great. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion made to approve the inclement weather guidelines as presented, say aye. Aye.
And then action item K, it is recommended that the district approve the change in authorized officers on the district business Visa card account.
Okay. Is there a second? Second. Second, for that discussion on that.
And explain this.
Self-explanatory.
Well,
Currently,
you gotta speak up.
currently I got the account, so we need to assign Courtney the account, and then, let's see, here, we need to, yep, and Mary is no longer here, so we need to, Carol.
They would have made the changes without you guys signing off on it, so.
We need for approval,
We're
there's
checking.
minutes, so.
30 years on the job, you think they trust her.
She's just gonna give it away. Not gonna happen. All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the authorized officers on the district Visa card, say aye. 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 Motion carries. Now you've got that.
Thank you. That's one foot out the door.
Yeah.
Okay, board information items. We only have one board information item, and that is recognition of service of Ann Heisler, district clerk of 30 years. And she did share with me last week or so. She's wondering what she shared with me now. I dream about a lot of stuff.
10% we saved the account. 10%.
Anyway, you've only missed one board meeting in 30 years.
Right, wow.
Wow.
I was gonna count them, but
I just
can't count that hard anymore.
But that's pretty impressive. It speaks to the dedication. Just Yeah, just a lifetime of excellence. You're a distinguished clerk and business manager. I think you're probably one of the most respected in the entire state. I look around and I see, I don't know who these people are. Maybe we should just go around and if you're here, if you have any connection to Ann, maybe introduce yourself and tell us why you're here. And something about Ann. Something about
You're first. I lives it pretty wide open. So is this up for discussion now? Is that-
You're on
I want to be last.
Scott, you want to start?
Ann was great to work with. She was here for a long time with me, and I really enjoyed working with her. Thank you, Ann. Even when I came in and you said, we don't have any money, Ann. And you know what? She almost always did. Thank you, Ann. Great service.
I echo those comments. It was wonderful working with you. Wonderful person, one of the most kind-hearted people I worked with in my years in education in 36 years. She's just a wonderful, kind human being.
I echo all of that, and I think Ann saved my bacon a lot too. Harvey, quit spending Indian Ed money. That's enough. So I came for two reasons to say that, and I'm really anxious to see what Nataro says.
I bet you do.
No, just, I mean, anytime you had a question about insurance, pay, I mean, kind of like Bob said, the kindest person, never see her flustered. Just approached
Well, a
every,
couple times.
well, maybe I didn't know, maybe you did. Yeah, just a great person to work with.
Yeah, my time on the board, Ann was always, as everybody said, really good to work with. But over and above that, I never, ever had any concerns about our business office. It was run very professionally. And I mean, there were just no glitches. Always good. And as always, I'm kind of concerned about what Nataro was concerned. Concerned too. I can't talk sitting down because I'm Italian. Hey, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm not too puffed up with it, my name's Jim Notaro. And for those that don't remember me and those that want to forget me, I just want to mention that. So I had the honor and privilege of working here for 4 years for this great board, wonderful community, outstanding staff. And it was like family to me, and it still is. And sometimes I've worked in education for 40 years in 5 different districts. I've worked for many good clerks, worked with many good clerks, but I've never worked with any better than Ann. Ann is number 1 in my list. And I know with all the Title IX that's going around, so you've got to be careful what you say, but I love her like a sister. I love her like a sister. And I've appreciated everything she's done. And sometimes we work with people and we don't, you know, I've told Scott more than once when I was working here, sometimes people don't realize what you have until they're gone. And you have big shoes to fill there, sister. And I'm sure you'll do a fine job. But I can tell you one thing, Ann's as good as anybody in this whole state and very, very well respected. And I don't know, you've had the pleasure of working with someone that does things so professionally and calmly and everything else. I don't know if you've experienced a district that's had not that ability. And you don't have to go very far from this school to figure out what can happen when you don't have a good business manager. And I'll just stop right there. But Ann,
you were the best I've ever worked with. And I've worked with some damn good ones. And I appreciate everything you do. This district will miss you. And I do love you. Thank you. Now, how was that for an intercom?
We have a couple people in the back there. Yeah, you say.
I can say, I'm Lisa Dykstra. I'm Ann's sister, and she's the quiet one. I'm the talker. Maybe you already know that about me, but I'm blessed. Blessed.
So I think Brad said, that you may be frustrated once in a while, but I got to see some of the frustration. And she definitely, she appreciated her job and she really, really worked hard at what she was doing. Okay. She wrecked any number more. Lots of weekends got wrecked because of you. The other side of that is we're going to get to have to discover each other again. A lot of discussions wrapped around what was going on at Manhattan High School, Manhattan School District. So, yeah. So, but I know she's done a great job. You guys really, I know everybody's appreciated her.
Throw Doug on the bus real quick, just because it's funny. Doug, you'll laugh tomorrow. He's not laughing right now. She never gets flustered at all, and see, why do you guys post these in the other building? We gotta walk all the way over here to see the job postings. And she goes, well, I mean, isn't it, can we just post right there? And he looks and he goes, you got 5 secretaries in here. And Ann's like, how many secretaries? That's the most frustrating.
I heard about that one too.
You guys wanna, we've got a board member, you probably came on the board about the same time she came on.
A little more. Okay, so poor thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been such a pleasure working with her, not knowing when the audit comes, everything's clean.
Absolutely.
From a board perspective, and the budget is a big thing, and us knowing that she's taking care of things it just gives you a peace of mind. So it's made our job a lot easier.
I've been able to sit in the audit reports with Rob now for a number of years, and to a report, the auditor invariably comes back and says just how impressed he is with how well books are kept and just the lack of any issues. And like Brand said, that we just haven't had, we've never where the money is and how things are being balanced out. And I think the trust that the board has in you, but also the trust that the community has in you, that you've earned in this community over the last 30 years is evident when we as board members go downtown and talk about different financial issues. And the question is always, well, what does Ann Heiser have to say about it? And as long as it's okay with Ann, it's okay. So that's, you've earned a tremendous amount of respect and trust for your service.
I come on the board as a Portdale farm boy here. It seems like 28 years ago now, and had been in position here. And school finance, I found, was something that was written in Greek. Basically, it was really hard to understand school finance, but she was so patient in helping guide me through it at that time as a young board member. And then as long as I've been a board chair, she's really, really done a remarkable job helping to explain it in layman's terms so we can understand what liabilities and assets and all of the things are that go with different funds and all of these things that go along with that. So I've really appreciated her knowledge, her professionalism without a doubt. I apologize for commenting on the color of your hair one time. I know that didn't fly. You probably heard about that at home too. being a smart aleck that I was, she just been to the hairdresser. She came back and she'd had stripes. And I just simply asked her, I said, you couldn't, I said, what? I don't care about the stripe. I just asked her. I said,
Was that the time you looked like a skunk?
I just asked her if she could decide what color she wanted it to be. So that was all done in fun. So I do appreciate everything. Like Mike said, the audit, it's the epitome of, or the pinnacle of what good bookkeeping does. When you go through these audits and these complex books that we have to keep for this school and not have a finding, not even a finding. I mean, it's just amazing to me. And I read all the time about embezzlements and all of this stuff that happens in schools. And one of the questionnaires I fill out every year for the auditor is, are you worried about fraud, or are you familiar with what fraud could be, and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just always been the same. No worries here, because I know Ann is transparent and trustworthy. So thank you so much for being part of the school for so many years. And I know that you're the reason that this ship stays upright. Thank you.
Tough to follow. Everything else, and I guess what really stood out to me in the time that I've been here is, you're so knowledgeable and so kind. And, when I first started, I had lots of questions and asked, a lot of questions about it. Just, everything that came up, and you're very patient, very willing to provide answers, and unbelievably knowledgeable about obscure questions that I would ask you, and you would just know 9 times out of 10. Sometimes you'd have to look, but I think that's this, and it's right. So very, very, very much a pleasure to get to know you.
I'm gonna withhold judgment for another 30 years. And if her report is as good as yours, then we've done real good. I've been blessed to my time sitting out there for maybe 10 years before I joined the board to being on the board. Have never had to experience the messy side of the business office. And I have a feeling I probably wouldn't be sitting here if I had to. Being able to come in here on a regular basis, knowing that we have our ducks in a row, we have our processes set up, and we have somebody behind it that knows what she's doing. Without question, I think it's a huge relief, I think, to all of us. And probably to everybody that has anything to do with the school. And for that, I am very, very grateful. Wish we can keep you around for another 20 years, but I'm also looking forward to working with you, Courtney. From what I've seen so far, I think you're well on your way too. You just got a few more years to go.
I'll let everyone sign up for the next 30.
Well, longevity is a huge part of it. So not turning over regular races. That is the he's done really well also. Thank you.
Mike put me on a word counter, you know that. Sorry, but
We needed that word counter when the tar was.
I've been told by a very famous doctor or dentist in this town that I'm a little breathy. So I apologize.
I'll kind of wrap it. When I applied for this job, obviously I had 0 experience. Wasn't even really a job I was looking for. I was very comfortable as a building principal. That's where I felt like I was most suited. But as I considered this, I spoke with a couple people that I had a great deal of just trust and respect for. Steve Johnson in particular. Many people know Steve Johnson, education best as well. I mean, the two of you are right up there. And anyhow, when I went to him and I said, am I foolish for even thinking about applying for a superintendent job in Bozeman, or I have no experience in that realm. I'm not even certified in it. And what Steve Johnson told me was, Manhattan is one of the few places someone in your position can make it. So if you want to go somewhere and be a superintendent, that's the place to go because they have a strong clerk and a strong board. And it gives you time to learn. It allows you as a new administrator, new superintendent to just learn. And you've been a great teacher. You had told me when I first started here, you would give me 2 years. And after 2 years, she came back and I thought, man, she must like me. Then I realized she just, she just. Next time right here, she's just probably give it up. It'll be hard. So I'm just gonna ask you one last time.
Forgot everything I was gonna say. And because every time somebody would come in, I would get another word. Like, so it's a good thing I wrote it down. So I'm gonna have to probably read it, otherwise I'll never get through it. But I would like to thank all of you. I mean, look at everybody that's here, whether I've known you for months, years, or even from when I first started, Fran and Rob. I just appreciate all of you. You're all a part of my journey, and I want to thank you for your support and trust over the past 30 years. It's been an honor to serve alongside you, and I will always be grateful for this experience, for being part of such an amazing school community. So I'm going to keep it short. I'm not going to read it all. But with that, I really want to express my gratitude to all of you. So I've got a little gift for each of you.
Oh my goodness, you're the one leaving.
You come on the counter with this actually.
Their checks, yes.
It's just a token of my appreciation, and these are some M&Ms that I had personalized. And on the M&Ms are some of the values that I think our community lives by and what I've kind of lived by for the last 30 years. So I can only do 4, so I had to pick my top 4. So those are be kind, serve others, teamwork, and then there's a tiger paw for either tiger strong or once a tiger, always a tiger. So I figured those were fitting and just some things that I've lived by for my time here. And then the one that I forgot, and then the football team reminded me, and then Mr. Tarot did, and that's family. And you have all been my family to me, like my second family. So I spend a lot of time here. I want to thank you, and I'm not going anywhere. I still get to be a part of this great community, so thank you very much.
What are your plans, Dan? Tell us what you and Dan are doing.
Well, we need to talk about that.
You haven't had time, right?
Are you inviting him?
We're having you on her labs at party.
I'll be around.
That's right.
One of the things that Anna would always talk about is her details. Details, right, and she emphasized that very good. And I could probably talk for 10 minutes about those candies in front of your event.
Tails are involved.
Yeah.
Ibuprofen or what?
Right.
This is a small token of all of our gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you for all you came tonight.
Glad to be here.
Yes. I wouldn't have missed it.
Now, we really roast her in May. She didn't want her own separate retirement party. We offered.
Is there gonna be food or anything? Or- If there's food, I'll come.
Want to come back and roast her in May? Okay, we're gonna keep this party going. Here we go. Principal report.
Oh, man, I know. That felt like a grand finale.
You're right. This week doesn't follow up. I went long last month, so I'll keep it short. This time we haven't had much going on. We got our concert on Thursday night. Bringing a blow up planetarium in for our elementary kids that Vanderbilt helped us out with that. So I think that's really cool. And then our mayor came in and talked to our kindergartners last week just about the community and the local government and how we help our neighbors work together within the Manhattan community. And so Miranda's son was on cloud nine and she had a celebrity. And then I just I'm pretty emotional after that. I'm an emotional guy now. So it just brought me back. So I got to say one thing. I want to cut the rest and spend my time with Matt. So when I was up to Utah and I got offered the job, I was talking to Mariah, try to get through this. And I told her how we're talking about the job and we're talking about how we're lucky to have Ann and how Ann runs the school. Thanks. I was just telling her how probably the most exciting person that I wanted to work with was Ann because I knew that she'd never bring judgment. She would always help me and she would never let me fail. And those are the things we talk about. And so because at first as I'm getting my weight, carrying my feet, I called Ann or I just hey, I said, hey, oh yeah, And then when I found out Ann was retiring, I said, Ann, we gotta get together. I gotta learn some of your mind here. I need to know more now. And I was really worried. And so we met 2 or 3 times and I said, now teach me basic algebra first. Get in algebra 1 and algebra 2. So then she's like, okay, I kind of got to replan that. And I was like, okay, so let's start meeting 1. And it was just, it just felt like we were always in the right hands and that all of our questions and worries were going to be handled because of you. And I know Courtney's going to do an amazing job and she's been learning under you and that's what we needed. But I mean, you're just going to be so missed. So thank you.
I don't have something to hand out to you guys today, just that we have a music concert this week and our student teacher was amazing, Ryan McCartney. He graduates this December 12th and is now ready to become a teacher and loves it here so much, and the community loves him, the kids love him. He just fit really well with our staff, so we're going to have him sub as much as possible, and then if there's an opening, who knows? He'd be a great addition to our team long term. And I also want to say, Ann, that as everyone was talking about you, I just was like, she's so consistent in who she is. She is kind and just steady and just ditto to what everyone said. I'm glad I got the opportunity to work with you for a short time. You're definitely those people, you will know them by their fruit. You have good fruit, and I'm grateful I get to know, have gotten to know you.
All right, I got papers. But it'll help me fast. The bottom one is from Nate, so I'll let you peruse at your leisure.
And I want to just say quickly, Nate has been running the candle at both ends for weeks now with everything going on. And he was planning on being here tonight, but he has not been around his family with his 2 young kids. And I just told him, you know, that tonight it would be a night that you could take off because you're going to get busy with winter sport. And so that's why he's not here. And that's also why Christine isn't here tonight. I just asked.
I think the reason Nate's not here is Notre Dame didn't get him.
That's what he is as well. He really wasn't here for recognition and that support. And just thank for him, but I'm glad he arrived.
Yes.
So just little highlights at the top. Coming into the holidays and everything going on, we've got our Christmas, 12 days of Christmas themes that students are participating in. On our last PD&A, we had staff take 3 to 5 positive postcards to send home to families. And so handwritten notes that go to them. So hopefully that's a positive moving into some time off from school. Our Christmas concert is tomorrow. So it'll be another list to our band and choir students. They always put on such a wonderful performance. I just want to recognize the teachers who put in all the time and effort to get those students prepared and put on pretty major events. Just averages of our attendance right now. The comparisons are by cohort in comparison to where we were at last year. So consistency with the classes and seeing kind of where we're at. And then just a list of our events that are coming up there. Our Rotary Student of the Month for December is Taylor Ward. And then we'll be doing our November, December High Five winners before break. And then I wanted to just do a quick highlight from our PTO and just the Manhattan Public Schools Foundation for some of the projects that they have supported this year. And a lot of their stuff seems to be so much behind the scenes, but the support that they show our students in our community is so appreciated. So just a thank you to them for that too. And I will wrap up with just a tan too. I think I've had a couple newbies in terms of administration. I've appreciated, like, I could come to you with a question that I felt was pretty dumb that I should maybe know, or I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with the perkins grant. And to be able to just know that you do approach every conversation with kindness and just understanding and taking opportunities for teachable moments. You just have a genuine heart. It's been a pleasure to work with you and learn from you. And so thank you for everything. Thank you all again.
And you're almost done. Those years, Beth is working with Ginny Francis to coordinate spaces for the adult ed program, which will run from January to April. So we're getting close. Just some committee updates, professional development. Meets in January to start planning for the 2025-2026 PIRPV schedule. Facility Planning and Building Committee meets Monday, December 15th with the Kitchener, Staley, A&E architects, and stakeholders from the community. Just for that second meeting, where they'll share with us the draft renderings. And then something else that would fall under Facility Planning and Building Committee, the North Broadway culvert schedule. We've been given that schedule, and probably the thing right in front of us is starting next week, they're going to close just that, I don't know, 100 yards of North Broadway from the driveway that goes into where the right here, our maintenance shop here, out to the 4-way stop. That's going to be closed. Sidewalks are going to be closed. So we're rerouting traffic and pedestrian foot traffic. And so Wes and I are going to be working on that, have messaging that will go out in the community. And then the other really big piece of that culvert project is They do need to shut water off, and they've communicated they'll have the water back on by January 6th. Problem is, we start school January 5, so we're gonna work with them to see if we can't somehow speed that up so that we're not having to close school, the elementary. It would close the elementary if we don't have water for that building. So just I'll update you as I go through this, but you'll stay tuned. You'll see messaging, social media, communication going out. And because it's 4 days, but it's 4 days of elementary traffic that they're used to coming in, dropping kids off and parking and getting out with the kids. And that's like that 4 days over here. So we'll have a plan. Hopefully by Wednesday. So that's facility planning as well. That falls there. Policy updates. We didn't bring any policy updates from the legislative session to you this month, but we do have some that we'll need to tell you in January, and we'll disperse those policy committees. So Brian, you'll see set up the updates. Okay. And then superintendent or transportation committee met tonight to talk about budget for a second bus. And we worked with Ann and Courtney, and it would mean a lot to Ann if we could get this passed at the next board meeting for the second bus proposal. We're going to bring a recommendation. I think that's the last thing she wanted to have happen. No pressure, that's what I thought you said earlier. And so, the transportation committee met just to look at grant funds that could fund this bus that would not impact general fund or multi-district fund. And so these are one-time only grant funds, and then we're hoping for some support from Booster Club as well. And make with contact with the district club president to say on that. So we'll come to you either the January meeting or the timeline stuff we make, but special board meeting and try to avoid that. So that's transportation committee, and then superintendent advisory council did not meet this month because our meeting with all the stakeholders is next week. So we just there wasn't anything new. SRO update: the town council will vote on approving the COPS grant at the December meeting, so that's this coming Thursday. So I'll have some updates for the board on what our next steps will be if we want to approve supporting that grant. And I think last thing, the superintendent's evaluation is for January board meeting. And I know Rob will be here at that meeting. And so I've sent the evaluations out to everyone. And I think that was actually your final wish, was to have a very strong evaluation for the superintendent. And that's it.
Very good. Thank you. That concludes the business for adjourned. Now we can socialize with that. And